we are back working on the Mustang. So as you saw in the last video, we went ahead and had some issues with the electrical system. Very obvious with the wiring that we had inside the car. So where we're at right now is that I'm going to go ahead and try to take apart all of the bad electrical wiring, like all the ones that were keeping this together. I still got some more to go. Tear all of this off, see where the wires are going, come over here to the battery terminal, start diagnosing all of this, get this burnt wire out of the way. So that's where I'm at. So while I was doing that, the car always felt like it had a slight miss, or just like a miss in general. But being a V8, it's kind of hard to tell, especially when you're trying to diagnose a bunch of different stuff at once. You don't know what is causing what. But it always was a little poppy and a little shaky. I figure this thing probably has bad motor mounts. But nonetheless, while taking apart the spark plug wiring, as you remember, it was all taped together, I found this. This is exactly how I found it wrapped up. So obviously that wire going to, I don't know what cylinder is, 3 or 4 on that side, is obviously dead. So at least we know, hopefully we could fix the slight miss with that. If you remember, in the back of the trunk, there was Screamin' Demon, right? Yeah, Screamin' Demon Performance Distributors. I don't know if they work, might be worth putting on. But I also have a bag full of coil wires. Some have tape on them, some don't. So I'm going to go through and see if there's any good ones left in there. Might just buy a new set in general, but at least for diagnosing this, I'm going to try to put a new one on after I get all the rest of the tape. So I'll get all the tape off and see if I report anything new that is not so good finding. Alright, so hopefully that was just a few seconds for you. That was about half an hour of getting all that crap off for me. I don't know exactly what I'm looking at yet, but we have this that goes into the factory harness, a white and red, yellow and red wire that they splice into. That was exactly like this. So red to black, that goes into this blue wire, that goes into this factory harness, that runs to the somewhat into the temp sensor, like they were piggying back off of it. I'm not exactly sure what's going on there, but we have that, so I'll have to look up diagrams and see what's going on there, see what they were trying to do, see if I can reverse it, see if I can do it better. Not sure, I gotta see what's going off, but I gotta get the rest of the tape off, because as you can see, these are all melted, they shorted together, all sorts of fun stuff happened. So I'm gonna take all the rest of this off, including this into here, take all of this nastiness off, see what we have, and then I'll start working on the battery side. But I think for today, that's probably going to keep me busy enough. I did put some coolant in here, just on the off chance if anything happens, and when I start it up, I still want to make sure I got all the air out. I'm not going to be starting it for a while till I get all of the electrical stuff done, but right now, that's where we're at. So I'm just going to keep on going and getting the rest of that off, and I'll show you what I find. Alright, so I went ahead and took this all apart. So now I gotta use definitely some wiring diagrams, because it looks like they tied the white and black wires together. And then someone at some point, which I feel like wasn't these people, because they actually did it somewhat correctly. And they're the same color wires. Well, slightly different. This is a green with a, yeah, it is green and yellow green with the red stripe and solid yellow to yellow and green with the red stripe. So yeah, this is somewhat normal. They tied the white and black together, and then they tapped in these blue wires that run to the temp sensor and run to the other side of the harness. So I got to see what this is all actually meant for, what they were trying to do, fix it, see if they're wired correctly or if I have to rewire that together. Also found that this coil wasn't fully secured. Could have been misfiring on both banks. So at least we're getting some progress done. I'm going to try to get a new coil wire on there while I'm here so I don't forget. And then I will continue with looking up schematics and trying to get these wiring all buttoned up and back together. All right, after doing some digging, and now Clement's here to help me do some wiring, I figured out what was going on. Old Ford stuff, modular engines are weird. Old school technology. So there are two sensors in here because they're physically a sensor, but they're two different things. This is a coolant temp sender, and then this is a coolant temp sensor, OEM. They flop them, and why they did that I don't know, but what the difference is, the one on the right side that we put in, as you know, is for the gauge. That sole purpose is sending a signal of temperature to the dash, so you know if the car is heated up, overheating, whatever. The left side, the sensor, is reliable for enrichment for the ECU. So cold starts, cold environments, air's cold, fuel's getting hot, the engine's getting warmer, stuff like that. It helps control that. So what they did is, typically this is supposed to be the sender, or the sensor, and this is the sender, but they flopped it. So these are the wires for the resistor. It doesn't matter which way they go for the ECU to read the coolant. They tied the wire into it that ties into another blue wire that ties into power and ground that they put into the factory power and ground over here. So basically what we're gonna do is completely redo all of it. Make it done right. We have connectors that we can use perfectly. So we're gonna get started on that. Also in the last video, or the earlier portion of this video, you saw the plug wire and the other one was unconnected. So this thing, in theory, should run a lot better. So hopefully at the end of this video, this thing is doing a lot better than when we first got it. So let's get at getting all the old wires off, getting the new wires crimped on, and getting everything connected. So we're almost done. We kept everything in the same configuration that they have. We even used blue wire because it's what we had and it looked right. So we did everything proper, and like they did, we used the right crimps and the right connectors and the right size wire. On the other side, for the actual sensor itself, while he's finishing it up, they had the power and ground going to the, it's hard to see, but there's a yellow and a red wire in there. We kept the power going to the same one and the ground going to the other one because the car did run, and I don't think I had any issues with it. If something happens, we can always just swap it. So I don't think there's going to be a problem, but just in case if there is, we'll swap it, and then we're gonna see if doing that makes the car run better. I think it will. At least we know the wiring is now not a hazard. The one that they had before obviously got hot and got melted, so no matter what, this was not going to be good. So we're almost done, and then we should be able to hopefully fire it up tonight. All right, we should be good to start it. We got everything wired. Obviously it's not completed, but we got everything wired. They did not leave us a whole lot of room to work with, but we got it done. So everything is actually wired properly, so I'm super happy about that. So we're gonna get in and start it up. We got to put our negative terminal on right now. Just get it on there for now. We're gonna replace it anyways, but as long as it's on there. So let's get in this thing and hope it fires up. And it might even run on all 8 cylinders, which is super cool. So Clement will stay out there and watch and see if anything happens, but we should be good. All right, here we go. Oh, almost. Nope, doesn't seem like it wants to do anything. Last time I did this is because it was the battery terminal. So, just make sure that's on there. Yeah, see, this gets really hot really quick. This thing is definitely not grounded right. We'll try it one more time, but it's super hot.
Try tightening the terminal, maybe?
Let's
do that. Hold on.
We're gonna tighten that terminal real quick and see what happens. So due to just how bad everything is, we put the ground wire that they had for something else. So we're just gonna ground the battery out doing that again, and then he's gonna tighten up, and then I'm gonna get in, and it wanted to start, it really did. So I think this time we'll be good. So whenever he tells me he's ready. All right, we're gonna try this again. There we go. Can't really see anything in here, but it is not running very good. So yep, something definitely happened, because this thing was running a lot better before. So something definitely happened. We did take one ground off that was at the battery, so I wonder if that was actually important. All right, we're gonna see what's going on. We're probably gonna rehook that ground up, because I think that was important for something. If you guys remember on last video, I said I was gonna put some gas in it. Guess what I did not do? I did not put gas in it. And the gauge is reading empty, and how it started up and sputtered out definitely sounded like it ran out of fuel. Good thing I live within walking distance of a gas station, so we're gonna get some 93 and put it in and hope that it runs again. All right, all filled up, 2 gallons. So let's get this into the car. All right, well, we got about 2 gallons in it, so hopefully that was our problem. It's kind of hard to tell, but we can hear it getting into the tank. It sounds pretty empty. So at least we got about 2 gallons of gas in it. If it fires up, then we know we're good. If not, we got some digging to do.
I don't know what's wrong with it.
All right, we got the 2 gallons of gas in it. We're gonna cycle the key a few times, even if this thing retains that function. Because who knows, even if it does. Turn the blower motor off, try to keep as much battery as we can in it. All right, let's fire it up and see what happens. Well, I think we knew what the problem was. There was no gas in it. It definitely seems like it's running smoother already. Oh yeah, if you guys remember from the last time, this thing was shaking like crazy. Still has that idle thing, but it's actually running on all 8 cylinders for once, so that's awesome. So it seems like everything is working good. So we're gonna go ahead and finish the wiring. At least we know that it runs, and it's running really, really good. Like, really, really good. We'll let it heat up and we'll give it some revs, but it's running so much smoother now. Well, while going everything, the PCV valve was completely disexposed. Could be a vacuum leak, because it does run into the intake after the mass airflow sensor. So that might make it run a little better. It is dark out. It is a little later in the day, but it's not too late. So let's see if this thing fires right back up. Make sure the fan switch is on, and here we go. There we go. Fires up like I knew it would. There we go. Well, I can already still hear the air leak from here. But so far, this thing is running so much smoother. So who knew, if you fix a bunch of electrical issues, make it run on 8 cylinders and fix a bunch of air leaks, the car will run pretty good. We're gonna let it warm up and then we'll go from there. So look at this. It is now idling where it should. Oh, and then, well, whatever he's doing is definitely making it run a bit different, but now it's actually idling good, and it's not idling at like 2,000 RPM, so that's super awesome. So one more side note that's pretty cool that I figured out, even though the dash lights don't work, I'll get my phone out. Now that we grounded the battery, everything works in here. Battery is charging normal. The temp or oil pressure is working, RPM is working. We know the coolant won't work, but it actually shows gas now. If you can see, it's idling, and if I rev it up now, the gas doesn't go completely blank, and we can actually see RPMs. and this gauge is now working properly. As you can see, we're doing good there. So far, everything is working out pretty well on this car. All right, look at this. Now that we got some heat into it, no misfire, it's not surging. The reason I think it's surging is that the enrichment on it is still not good, but it's idling good, no 2,000 RPM now that we fixed that. It was running rich, we could smell, but now it's running good, running at like idle speed. If you want to come back here, get a little bit of the exhaust. It's running really, really smooth. So that's where we're gonna end it for today. I'm super excited. This thing's running better than it ever has. So that's just fantastic. We'll continue to fix the rest of the issues and keep working on it, but for now we're gonna take every win we get, and today's a very good win. Appreciate you guys watching. Please subscribe, it helps a ton, and I'll see you later. Peace.